This episode is presented to you by NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. With NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube and YouTube TV, you can watch your favorite teams' out-of-market Sunday games, plus watch up to 4 games at once with Multiview. Don't miss the race to the playoffs. NFL Sunday Ticket is now just $39 when bundled with YouTube TV, where you get even more football. Visit youtube.com/Spotify offer to sign up now. Lowest price on YouTube TV with base plan. Rest of 2023 season. Terms and embargoes apply. No cancellations.
Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple: products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
This episode is brought to you by Columbia Sportswear. It's snowing again, and that wind chill is killer. But you're not worried about that because you shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection. It's warmth perfected with tiny gold dots that reflect your body heat inside and protect you from the cold outside. No snow or chilly temps can stop you now. Go out anyway. Shop the Omni Heat Infinity Collection now at Columbia.com/infinity.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. It's a goal!
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. We are the Blue Testament. My name is Cody Bradley.
Cody Bradley of the Blue Testament with a header, putting Team Heartland up 1-0 with 30 seconds remaining.
I am here with Thad Bell, Robert Russert, and I've got Mike Kuhn and David Greenwald here as well. We got a full podcast here. We're going to talk about the media game. We're going to talk about the current. We're going to talk about Sporting getting a win and climbing out of the cellar. No more wooden spoon stuff, guys. It's going to be a good week.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff here tonight.
All good stuff this week.
Well, like I said, I saw it on the field, and it looked majestic. You just rising up there like a stud and putting the ball away. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
No, it was a good header, Cody. I'm absolutely going to give that to you, man. No problem. Even if it was offside.
And I can hear the butt on your lips waiting to come out.
So, Cody, I have a few thoughts. First of which, extremely well taken. Kudos to you. I've tweeted at Soccer Trigonometry so that they can do the math for you to prove that you were offside. But here's my question, and I know that I don't know if Nate listens or sometimes listens or the frequency at which he consumes our product, but he celebrated your goal harder than you did, and I want to know why.
He had like 40 kids, he had his daughter's entire youth team there with him at the game. That's where he was running over to celebrate, was with all the girls from his daughter's team.
Yeah, I didn't actually even see that happen while it was out there. So, you know what, whatever. He was actually talking about, it was a big night for that team of girls. Like, he was like trying to make dreams and make lifetime memories and inspire some little girls to a lifetime career of soccer. So,
dang it, Cody, you were
cool
part of
with
that,
him
man.
doing it. Right?
You played your part.
Yes.
But that's also how you become bigger in media, is by celebrating more, whether it's your actual finish or not.
Yes, that's a valid point.
Nate made a good cross. No argument there. But yeah,
yes, that
should have ran to you.
It was a perfect cross. I found him after the game, and he said, Cody, we made love there for a second.
Okay, so clearly no disrespect in the celebration, but I saw you wave your hands too for the ball. You're like,
Oh.
hey, I'm open. I'm right here.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, he snubbed me with a play before that. He looked up and saw me, and then didn't do it. Made a little move, worked it around the wing, and that one it was just like he saw me standing next to Chad, and like
He wasn't going to make that mistake again.
He saw the mismatch of me standing next to Chad there. So
I do remember on a corner kick though, you were on the front post, and when I came over to mark you, you decided to leave. Why was that?
I don't even recall this. I don't know.
Mike, you saw
I remember
that, right?
trying to stand in front
Hell
of
yeah.
Mike. And
I mean, it was right in front of me. It was hard for me to miss, but
oh yes, Mike. Can we get your opinion of the goal that as you were in goal, and I believe you may have watched it go by you into the.
You were offside
You
by
may
a
have.
good couple yards. That is my thought on the goal.
Okay,
is that you
so-
were offside by a good couple yards. Now,
A good
if we
couple
want to talk
yards.
about me
Mhm.
on that,
Mhm.
I had 3 options and I made the worst option there. Basically, I was not one. You got up really, really well. I will agree with David on that because I went expecting the ball to go over your head and just catch it in a nice little bucket catch, basically. But of the 3 options in the end, I made the worst call. I went there instead of 1, staying on my line and trying to make a save on it, and 2, coming and potentially clearing you out, trying to punch the ball out, basically.
Yeah, you should have done
In
that
the
one.
in hindsight, yes, I should have, but
You should
I
have
did not
punched
expect
Cody
him to
out,
get up
yes.
that high,
See,
so I was going to. I was moving to catch it, and as soon as I saw where he was, I just kind of stopped and was like,
After the game, you told me I was way off sides, and then I jumped really high, and I believed both of those things. And then I watched the replay. I didn't jump very high. I don't even remember jumping. I don't even think I got off the ground really very high. And I was also, it's questionable of if I was offsides. Several yards I scoff at. Was my toe questionable, inconclusive? Yeah, we can get into that. But several
That's a
yards.
terrible angle on that video, man.
Yes. Inconclusive. It's the exact point I'm making here. And you also did get to make one save. I was right there. I was ready to pounce on it. I thought you were gonna spill it right into my lap. You made one save, and you got one punt out of it. I saw that.
yeah, that was.
It didn't go very far, but
No,
I think you had 2,
hit it off my shin instead of my foot, like I'd wanted to.
Well,
Didn't
folks,
exactly make the best contact.
we all know the game should have been 1-1 anyway, but yeah.
yeah,
I
someone
don't remember
missed a
who
terrible
missed
attempt.
that ball at the back post. But
Absolutely
somebody
horrible.
missed it.
And
Robert,
then-
after you were a bright spot in the Sporting KC media game and were largely invisible in this one.
I had 2 crosses and 2 corners. That's largely invisible.
I
I'm
watched-
insulted.
I watched the highlights, and Robert in the first 15 seconds was like the MVP. There was he like had an interception and a pass and moved it upfield, and in another block, and like you were all right at the beginning, and then it didn't happen much.
I
after
guess
that.
my 2 crosses and 2 corners didn't count for anything.
You looked good though. You looked formidable.
Oh,
You were
okay.
out there.
All right.
Thad had a good moment too.
Got a clearance there from Thad Bell of the Blue Testament.
I had 2 clearances, one left, one right, because my knees won't be able to handle 2 on one leg.
And I figured I was setting you up there to take me down because this play right here
Got a clearance there from Thad Bell.
was a pass from mine. Was my pass.
Okay. I don't know. I don't care.
You were in the zone, huh? Didn't even know that it was from me.
I also had a good block where 2 people came together on the other team, and I ended up knocking the ball away. But I mean, just basically because I got in their way. So I don't even know who they were.
It was a good night. Did anyone embarrass themselves? Maybe Chad because I scored on him.
Besides that, if you call that,
And 'cause he's not here, we can
That
ask
was
him.
his
so.
best Ben Sweat imitation.
Hey,
The Austin Ben Sweat imitation.
I will give credit where it's due. He had a good game last night.
Yeah, no, last night, but Chad had his best Austin Ben Sweat imitation.
But Mike, Mr. Thad Bell paid you a compliment after the game. He said, we shouldn't have had Mike in goal. Where, Thad, should Mike have played in this match?
On the field, man. We should have just had some tall basketball playing media guy that doesn't know anything about soccer in goal, and somebody on the field who can actually move and pass.
There you go.
You had plenty.
Robert
of
could move and
people that
pass.
can do that. You
Yeah.
had.
We need more.
You had Robert. You had Jillian. You had a number of people that could play soccer
We
out
could have
there.
had you marking Cody.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Nobody wants that job.
I have
be
a
real.
bad knee. I don't need to be marking anybody.
Yeah,
See,
but you're in great
I wish I
shape
could have
now,
played.
Mike.
I would have been more decisive than Mike. It would have either been stand the line and watch the ball go in over my head because I don't jump that well. And here's what I would have chosen: clear Cody out.
Well,
Like
see,
absolutely just
I wasn't
bash him because we know he can't take a PK.
I wasn't indecisive. I just made the wrong decision.
Fair.
I made my decision. I just made the wrong one in the end.
Yeah.
I should have stayed on my line or gone and cleared Cody out.
I was feeling very good. I woke up just floating the next day as well. I was looking at all the pictures and all the video. Genuinely, like unsarcastically, that was awesome to score a goal on that field. And there were a bunch of people that were like excited too. I was like looking at the crowd in the picture, and there are people that are pumped, and that was pretty cool. And I had people walking out of the stadium that were like, "Hey, you scored that goal!" So I had people recognize me. It was a great night. It was a great night.
I have one last thing. So Cody, it took me a while to figure out. I was like analyzing the film, trying to figure out what the back of your shirt said, because I thought that you had gone with like Codinho or like whatever. It's your Twitter handle.
Yeah, and I will say, all caps, it doesn't come off the same way. It like doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing.
And no and, of course. They can't print an and.
Well, I don't have an and. That
I know,
Cody
but
does.
they can.
The at symbol.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
But
it needs the 3 capital letters to like separate the words out, or it doesn't look right.
Given that I direct people to your Twitter handle every podcast to leave negative comments if they have them, I would have expected to have recognized it sooner.
Yeah, now you directed them to give me praise for a goal.
And you never forget your first.
So, on a little more serious question, though, how much fun was it to go out and play on that field in front of thousands of people, whatever the number was? Because that was your first time, Cody, in a media game on that field? Or
No.
You did before.
It was sporting, but yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, just how much fun is it to go out and do that?
Yeah, it is really fun. And just to note, that number was like 10,200 something. Because
395.
The current, 395. The current broke that 10K record. And yes, it is very cool. We line up, everyone's in their jerseys, and we walk out and shit talking, and yeah, it is unsarcastically very cool.
It is very much.
If I felt like the crowd was cheering like as jeers and making fun of these like dumbasses out there, then it would be different. But no, it was awesome. People like goals and soccer, and it was cool.
How about you, Mike? That was your first, wasn't it?
Not my first. My first at the stadium at Children's Mercy. Yes, I haven't done a media game since the Comets, I think, and I think I did one Wizards one back in the Cab days. But no, it was fun. I always enjoyed that stadium. I just love the fact that we've moved beyond the fact of the media personalities picking the ball up and running with it.
Exactly.
That we used to get back in the day. So I'm thrilled with the fact that we've moved on from that.
The local TV news sports guy always picking the ball up and running with it.
Or the sports radio guy.
It was a radio guy. He wasn't even sports radio, man. He was like an afternoon disc jockey or something. Something lame. He was an asshole. He did it every single time. And the first time I got into a media game, I swore if he picked it up, I was going to take him out. I was going to destroy his knees if at all possible for not taking the game seriously. Honestly, if I ever recognize him on the street, I'm taking him out.
I just wanted you guys to all hear it for not taking the game seriously. And last week he was bragging about not taking the game seriously and handballs. And if he kicks it out, he throws it in. And he loved it. I'm making everyone else mad. He loved it. And now he's on the other side.
That's taking the game seriously. I want to win. It makes me mad to not win, man.
My one comment from, yes, it was cool stepping on the field, but the thing that I liked about it was I miss team sports. I miss the camaraderie of team sports, and me and Nate locking eyes and having that moment was just
that moment of love.
Yes, team sports works. Like it felt good to do that again.
Yeah.
Don't you play kickball every week?
Yes, but that's not the flow. It's like baseball, and baseball is boring. I don't know how you call that a team sport. Everything's individual.
You throw it to somebody else.
I'm not even.
I understand.
I'm like really upset on a lot of.
I
different
understand
levels on
baseball is a team sport, but there's a distinction there. You're not like you're not running plays and working off of and communicating.
There's a lot more individuality in baseball than there is in soccer and other sports.
Thank you, Mike. I was
what you're trying to
floundering.
get at.
I was floundering there, and he was the only
I'm
one
not
that
sure
supported me.
Cristiano Ronaldo would agree.
I'm not. Well, but the thing is, Cristiano Ronaldo would agree because
I'm being sarcastic, Mike. Don't take it too serious.
Well, I mean, to play to your point a little bit, the picture that comes to my mind when you say that is I think it was the Copa Centario, the tournament where CONCACAF and CONMEBOL played in the U.S. The final, I think, Chile and Argentina, and there's the photo of Messi between like 7 Chilean players, and it's like Messi would have it with teammates. Messi would have a World Cup. He'd have more than his one Copa America that he has. Basically, in baseball you can get away. I mean, again, using a reference, the Giants won. The main reason the Giants won the World Series against the Royals was because of Madison Bumgarner that year. That was the main reason. Basically, in baseball you have a lot more. It can come down to one person more than soccer, and now we're a baseball podcast.
Yeah, and I never want to talk that much about baseball ever again. That's way more baseball than we're ever going to talk on this show. Let's talk about the actual game, when the Current made it 11 in a row. Because, this show likes talking about the Current. We've been talking a lot more about the Current, and we're going to continue talking more about the Current. Don't you think, probably, Thad?
I think currently we talk a fair amount about the Current, and we had a couple of very current specified pods last week, didn't we?
Yeah. We got to interview the president of the team. We've been learning about the players of this new team.
And I give you shit once in a while just to, because it's not as much directed at you as some fans who don't pay attention, and I'm just kind of using you as the puppet, as a
exactly.
scapegoat.
It's satire. Are we explaining satire? That's what we do. It's satire.
That's way
making
too
fun
complicated
of me.
for me. That's way too intellectual for me to understand.
Well, dedicated intellectuals that would understand what satire is. Yes, that's what we do. We're taking, a lot of people are not familiar with women's soccer, and specifically this team. It is a new team. Yes, they've been around last year. Yes, I'm aware. But it's a new team. We're learning about them. We're taking the audience on a trip with us to learn about them and advocating for the league and the team. And we're excited about it. And it's fun. We're learning about it.
And we are working on even more pod content for them. We currently have Cindy that does hers with her friend. I don't know their name, but Cindy and this other person does a current only podcast, and we kind of mix in, because I sneak in Comet stuff once in a while, college stuff, national team stuff, because we do mostly focus on SKC on this pod, but we try to cover a lot of other stuff, which is why it's the Shades of Blue.
The Shades of Blue.
Exactly.
There's multiple soccer teams. And no, we don't. It is definitely SKC heavy. But, yeah, we've been... The team has been playing well, and we've been talking a lot more about the Current, and it's an exciting time, and so we're going to keep talking about it.
And if you haven't listened to those interviews that Thad and Cody did last week, both of them excellent interviews, very informative and fun.
Yes, Allison Howard, team president, she's very impressive.
I really, really like her. She's she's one of the most... There's a lot of very impressive people with that organization, but when I talk to her, she makes me enthused that they are going to succeed, even if the team was poor. Just the way she talks.
There are people that you just talk to every now and then, and like they're operating on a very high level of efficiency, and that they're important and they know what they're doing, and she just carries herself very well, and I think the team is in really good hands.
And then sometimes there's people you talk to that you just get the feeling that no matter how much they talk, you don't have any impression that they know what they're doing. But
and I don't think you're implying that Danny Welniak was the other one, the other interview.
No. She's amazing, wonderful.
Yeah, one of the other very impressive people at the team there.
And
a longtime friend of the show.
And thanks to Danny for putting the media game together, too.
Heck yes, and giving me the highlight of my life.
Yeah, Danny, Jeff, everybody else.
Okay. Anyway,
one thing I got from listening to those, and I don't know how much we should be referencing our own pod and how great it is, but you guys did do a good job.
Thank you.
The energy that Danny and Allison had, and like that excitement, and I feel like the buzz kind of around the team right now it reminds me a lot of Sporting around the time of the rebrand. Like there's just kind of this like insurgency and like a lot of like just buzz, and you could tell like they were something special was coming.
Building a new
and
stadium.
I think Sporting's lost that a little bit.
A lot.
You know, as much as it doesn't quite have the same vibes that it did 10 years ago. Of this like new, exciting, up and coming like thing.
Right.
But the Current have kind of taken that over. Listen to those pods, listen to Allison talk, listen to Danny talk. It made me really excited. I don't get to consume the Current as much as Cindy and Chad and Thad. But it was definitely cool to hear like all these plans and all this ambition from Chris and Angie Long. It's super cool. It's great for the city. It's great for the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we are a goofy show. Like we talk about tacos and burritos, and like that's what we argue about on this show. Forever gonna argue. We're never gonna talk. We never promised this show was for intellectuals. So we're gonna be goofy. We're gonna be goofy when we're talking about the team. I'm gonna say dumb things like I do when I talk about Sporting and SKC too. But we're all we're learning about this. We're trying to grow the team, grow knowledge of the team. Yeah. I'm gonna learn, and maybe we will inform some of our fans as well.
And I do think that we do try to talk tactics and actual soccer stuff, but it's intermixed with being a little goofy, a little stupid, little just guys hanging out, chatting kind of thing.
Exactly. That embodies the entire show right there, and we're gonna do the same thing for the Current.
And there is a little bit of tension sometimes between trying to do more fun versus trying to do more serious, but it's not always going to be perfect, but we try. And hey, we're not exactly seasoned professionals at this yet, but I think we're getting better every couple of months, if not every day.
It's people hanging out, talking about soccer. It's fun.
Well, speaking of the Current, as far as tactics and things, very well coached team. I like the way they play, very disciplined, but also explosive in the right moments. And they controlled much of that game. I thought Angel City was a very explosive team. They were dangerous on the attack, but obviously the Current's tactics worked and got the draw, comeback draw.
The comeback draw. It was frustrating there for a while. Like you said, it did seem like they deserved something out of that, and it didn't feel like they were going to. I guess it actually wasn't that long. They got the response.
It was actually like 4 or 5 minutes or something. It wasn't as long as it sounded, but
the frustration was the fact that you felt they should have had 3 points basically. Right. They should have had 3 points arguably wrapped up before we had to go downstairs for the media game.
Well, yeah, that's very true, Mike. We talked about that on our walk over.
Because they should have. I mean, Hamilton had 2 glorious chances before. So we had, for those that are listening that don't know, we had to head into the media room around the 25th minute to head down to get ready for the game. So just an idea of where the game was when we left to go get ready was after Hamilton had missed those 2 really good chances that they'd created, and they'd controlled the entire game up to that point. So you would have felt the disappointment is not in the fact that they got a draw. It was the fact that they couldn't get all 3 and didn't have the game wrapped up by halftime, basically.
Yeah, and it just seemed like the goal that they scored, it kind of came out of nowhere. Now, I was in the Cauldron, so that's never an analytical place to watch the game. But it just seemed like that goal, it just kind of came out of nowhere. One cross, one loopy header into the goal, and oh crap, we're about to lose.
Actually, I think it was much like the one that you scored on Mike.
Yeah. I was
going to say the same thing because
I said mine was better, but whatever.
Well, speaking of the goal, a different thing I want to talk about, not related to the goal. I personally haven't watched as much of the Current as I would like to. Just I'm not going to pay for Paramount Plus right now, so I don't get to watch all the games. But I was scared every time AD got the ball at her feet, because there were 2 or 3 opportunities in the first half and another couple in the second half where She got the ball played back to her, and she was pressed by an Angel City forward and almost lost the ball 2-3 times at least. And so I don't know if that's normally happened or if that was just Angel City high pressing that caused it, but I was scared more than once. And maybe I'm used to, like I said, maybe it's the high press, but she did not look comfortable with the ball at her feet last night or Friday night.
I do think that was one of her worst games for that in at least a little while. And just kind of looking at the season overall, I think it kind of felt like early in the season she was not up to her normal standards. And then she kind of just consistently got better and better as the team got better. But I also think the last couple games she's been a little bit more shaky with handling the ball at her feet. And maybe it is just the other team's pressure or there's something else going on. And early in the year I thought maybe because I know her and her wife had a baby and that takes a lot out of people. I mean, I've seen that with a lot of players around the world, men and women. So that sometimes distracts them for a while and they're not quite as good. So I didn't know if that was maybe what was going on early in the season, but she seemed to be better throughout most of the middle part of the season. But there for a while, I thought that perhaps she would actually end up losing her job to the backup, Cassie.
And I thought we deserved all 3 points just for Lowe's celebration.
Would you describe that celebration?
And well, I guess I liked it so much because I hadn't seen that it was kind of a trend. She's one of the first to pile on. I will give her that. She's very early on the trend, but it's the limping to a certain place and then turning it into a twerk. I liked it. It was good.
She basically did that right in front of me.
It's from the Savannah Bananas. We'll give them credit. A minor league baseball team that started this trend of the limp twerk. I
This is a
believe they
baseball
started
heavy
it.
pod.
Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even mean to do that. But their name's the Savannah Bananas. That's a funny name. That was for content right there.
Let me ask: if Roger scores a goal, does he pull out the exact same celebration?
Oh, he has to. That's the rule.
No.
He has to.
I think it was only if he had scored last night. Do you pull it out? I think now the moment's passed. If he'd have scored Sunday night, he absolutely 100% needed to pull that out.
Okay, so just on the record, I asked him that in the locker room if he was going to do the same celebration, and it was so loud in there I could not actually hear his answer. But the look he gave me led me to believe that no, he was not going to do that celebration.
Not going to happen.
Roger Espinosa's not a twerker, you're telling me?
And not that it has to be a PK, but in what world does Roger take PKs for sporting?
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Kai Kamara got fined for twerking earlier this season when he scored a goal. Or was it last
really?
season?
That's funny.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Kamara did get fined for that.
The third highest goal scorer in MLS history?
I was just going to say that.
Is that new? Did that happen this weekend?
He broke
Ask
his
Chef Cunningham.
tie with Cunningham
Yep.
over the weekend
Well, good
to
job,
take
Kai.
sole possession of third.
See,
It's
if you
pretty
followed
incredible.
the league, Cody.
I actually watched the Columbus and Atlanta game because it was on. before
Because
Sporting.
it was on and the
Right,
sporting
exactly.
game hadn't started yet. It was the lead-in to the sporting game.
Only kinda. I turned on FS1 and they stuck me with Atlanta and Columbus still. I had to log on and watch
what
the
a mess
app.
that was.
That
They
was because
switched-
of weather delay.
They switched midway in the game and pushing kickoffs back, and it was what a mess. Can we just watch our teams that we want to watch? I wish this was all easy.
And that sucked because a lot of times I like to come home and put the game on and rewatch it, because I've recorded it, or if it's on a streaming, I'll do that. But that sucked. So, but then I noticed it was on at 1 to 3 in the morning, so I hit record and went to sleep.
And also on that note, Mike, the Current make it very easy to watch. How much is Paramount Plus? It's cheap, right? There's some good stuff on Paramount Plus. In addition to
have
NWSL.
Cable.
Syria.
I have the Hulu, Disney, ESPN package. I have Netflix.
And so what do you do when
drop
Champions
Netflix,
League
I'm pretty
starts?
sure I have something else.
What do you
as
do when
well.
Champions League starts?
I watch in Spanish. I watch
it's
the
on,
game that's on in Spanish.
Oh, where it's like
¿tú hablas
TUDN or
español?
something?
Un poco.
Okay.
I'm going to Cancun next week, guys.
Again?
again.
Yeah, you're gonna be burnt. Cody, are you excited to watch Man City not win the Champions League again this year?
With the way they're playing, what makes you say that? Have you seen Erling Haaland play? How do we get on this already? What have you done? You're derailing the show.
That's his job.
Yeah, that's just
if it's not
taking
him, it's me.
Small digs at your team.
I'm just saying. I'll leave it with this. Everyone, the joke with the Champions League: get it in while you still can. Rack them up all you can. Your time is running out.
So back to the Current. They made a big trade today.
Yes, they did.
You know what it is, Cody?
Yes, Victoria Pickett was traded for 200,000.
And a draft pick.
200,000 what?
Dollars, I believe, is the currency that we use.
Allocation money.
Oh, well, that's the same thing, right? I thought it was the dollars and something else. Oh, and a first-round draft pick.
Potential first-round draft pick.
There we go.
There's a conditional pick thing in there. It's a little bit weird, but do you know who?
Cody doesn't read the Blue Testament. Whatever. It took me a second to get it up. Go on.
You know who she was traded to?
She was traded to the Gotham City, New York, New Jersey. Oh, I did that the wrong way. New Jersey, New York, Gotham
FC. Yeah, correct.
Yet another singular name in NWSL, which bothers me.
So actually, it's a kind of a big deal.
Thad, a quick analysis of the trade.
Yes, it's kind of a big deal. Let's hear about it.
$200,000 for a player who wasn't always getting full-time in games, that was a second-round draft pick to begin with, is a lot of money. And, I mean, a $200,000 and a first-round pick for a second-round pick who doesn't play full-time. When they acquired Lynn Williams, obviously she's hurt and didn't play very much this year, but a full, national teams, a frequent starter on the national team, NWSL scoring leader, and all that stuff. They paid $200,000 for her. Why did they pay $200,000 for a player that is not in that caliber, unless they really think she can turn into that? And from my point of view, she's not. She's a really decent midfielder, dribbles well, doesn't score much, doesn't assist much, needs to be a little bit smarter on how she, she'll dribble, and then get stopped. She needs to make that final decision a little bit better, and maybe she'd turn into that player then, but she's not now. So it seems like a lot of money for a player who's not at that high of a level yet.
A lot of money and a draft pick.
Yeah.
And they have a bunch of draft picks, right?
Like 8. Like 1 first, 3 second, 1 third, 3 fourth, and with Hugh Williams as the director of soccer operations and their GM Cammie Levins. Can't remember the other part of her last name. Apologize, but
and the draft actually means something in this league. It's like worth something.
Big time, yeah. You can rebuild a team with the draft pretty easily. I mean, it'll take you a couple of years for them to mature, but a lot of the good players on Kansas City Current were drafted this year or last year. Elise Bennett has been a really good attacking option. Alex Loera was drafted the year before but stayed in college because of the COVID exception. She's been a starting defender, a starting D-mid when Desiree was up with Canada. Jenna Weinbrenner was a early starter all the time. Now, like Izzy Rodriguez coming off the bench. These are all players that are first-year players. So, yeah, you can really get a lot of boost from getting a good draft.
11 unbeaten for the Kansas City Current.
And how about that crowd, huh?
And 10,000 plus. Well done.
Just the noise they made was impressive as well. But hey, just to wrap up, if we're wrapping up the Current here, Cody, I don't know if we are or not, but I really like kind of what is their mantra. It was mentioned a couple of times in the pods you guys did. It's not a moment, it's a movement. I think it's a really good philosophy for them, and it's true. They're making a movement and making big change here in Kansas City for women's soccer.
Yeah, even if you're not as much interested in the team, you have to acknowledge that what they're doing will be setting a standard, building a standard, whatever catchphrase you want to use for it. But the first women's soccer specific stadium, just a lot of the things they're doing is making that impressive leap that will have everybody else have to step up to follow. So they could be a worldwide leader in women's sports in this town. And I remember last year, Hugh was telling me that he expected Chris and Allie Long, the two primary owners, along with Brittany Mahomes, that he expected them to be big players in women's soccer going forward, and I think he was very, very accurate.
Sporting Kansas City.
That was
4-1
fun.
win.
That was fun.
It's been a lot more fun these last 3 games, hasn't it? Even the loss.
4-1 over the Portland Timbers. 3 first half goals. 3 games with 3 games straight, scoring 3 goals in the first half.
MLS record.
First MLS team to do that.
That's not bad. It's almost like we're improving.
For a team that scored 19 goals in their first 24 games to then score 11 in their last 3, I mean, it's amazing what you can do when you have a center forward that can actually score goals.
That's another interesting stat that was pointed out last night was Willy Agada is only 2 points off the Golden Boot leader for Sporting Kansas City.
Oh,
He's
really?
only played 5 games.
He's 2 behind Russell.
Yep. And Russell's played how many games versus Willy? Yeah.
And
Willy's played 348 minutes. Johnny's played 2,100. Shallowy's played just under 2,000. Just under 2,000.
But I tell you what, guys, I mean, you watch Willy play and you think, I think he's kind of this type of guy. You see his celebrations, you see the way he behaves in the field. And then last night I had the fortune to be able to, be in the locker room and interview him. And he's exactly the way I thought he was going to be. He's such a bundle of energy. He's always smiling. Yeah. He was looking me in the eye practically the whole time we were talking. And yeah, he's just a fun guy. He's a great guy.
He was kind of eating it up being interviewed, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
But I mean,
yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
good. Well, he's what? He's been given Doyle's Face of the Week basically 2 times in the last 3 weeks when Doyle does his post-weekend recap basically of every single game. He's gotten he's been Doyle because of his smile. He's gotten Doyle's Face of the Week, the LA win, and then this win basically. So he just looks like he's having fun out there.
Exactly,
which
he
is at times something it feels like this team has lacked this year. Which obviously winning cures all ills basically in soccer, but. I mean, he just looks like he's having fun,
and it feels right. It feels good just knowing that there's a guy on the team that if he's given a chance, he'll poke it home.
And I think it's ironic too that the 2 guys we sign are almost complete opposites in that way. And not that Tommy's doesn't have a personality or anything, but he's very straightforward and very businesslike. So it's an interesting combination.
I mean that almost feels stereotypical German.
I was going to say he's German.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to stereotype, but yeah, it is definitely a very typical
German efficiency, just like the national team. They're a system and business-like, just like you said. That reflects in his game.
And soccer explains the world, right?
That goal, are you kidding me? That was just, it was satisfying.
You talking about Tommy's goal?
Yes, that just felt so good off of his foot. Just, it was one of those the second it leaves your foot that it just feels right. It was going in all the way. It just jogs to the corner. Oh, it was so beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing to see.
Each part of that play was great. There was Zusi with the ball over the top, which was a great ball to Agada. Agada had awesome hold-up play.
Yeah.
Lays it off with perfect weight to Thommy. And then credit for Thommy for taking it one time. I think a lot of guys would have taken a touch and allowed the defense to recover. And he took a one-time
25
curler.
yards out, or like how far it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he knocked it home like he was at the 6-yard box, but it was like 25 yards out.
Yeah, awesome technique, and I think really courageous to take it one time.
I mean, we got to give Zusi credit. I mean, the man plays amazing balls in, amazing crosses.
Did he get a
he's
hockey
been doing
assist?
his whole career, but
he got a hockey assist on that one.
Nice.
He had 2 assists last night.
Yes.
How about Willy's second goal, though? I mean, he talked about in the post-game conference with us that Sweat and him kind of locked eyes, kind of like, you and Nate did, Cody. And
Making love,
he's like,
baby.
Sweat knew that I was going to change my run. And what Willy does is he changes his pace. He's jogging along with a defender or running, whatever you want to call it. And then he looks at Sweat, and then he bolts into the space, and Sweat plays the ball just perfectly.
Yeah, it was a perfect ball from Ben Sweat, admittedly.
Yeah.
We finally took it easier on him last podcast, and look what happens. He doesn't. No, actually, one of the things that one of the only times we've spoken positive about Ben Sweat this year has been mentioning like a couple good crosses. He seems to be one of the only ones that is sending in like really good crosses like that. And yeah, that play, it was the beautiful game in motion. And like I said, he's just riding on that confidence, and you knew the second the ball went in there that Willy was going to poke it home, you know?
I think I was actually defending Sweat last pod. I mean, not saying that he did everything perfect, because he didn't, but just that he's a guy that's, over 30, so, coming off of a injury and not being able to play a lot, and then now being forced into a bunch of games and terrible weather and heat and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, he may not be 90-minute fit, but he's out there giving everything, man. So I was happy for the effort that he gave, even though he was caught walking back on one of those plays. So
yeah. And I just want to say here, I'm a fan of Willy Agada. I feel like
you're not. No, you're not.
Like, I feel like all I said was I am not a fan of some flopping on the field. I don't like faking of injuries. And yes, he's very new. He's got plenty of time to grow, and he's still pretty young. So he's got plenty of time to learn the league and grow and get better. I disagree with the statement that anytime we don't heap undeniable praise on these players, that means we are a hater of them. I am not a hater of Willy Agada. I like Willy Agada.
Well, you were very negative on his shithousery, or whatever you want to call it. And I mean, I know Robert,
specifically the faking of injuries. Yes, there
Robert
was one
and I
that
were
was egregious.
disagreeing heavily on the one where he was undercut and fell on his tailbone.
Yeah,
but I couldn't talk to the other ones because I didn't really see those.
Yeah, so. the undercut one, whatever. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I believe I walked that one back to a certain extent.
Yeah, a little bit.
But there's one play I'm like that was egregious, of him laying on the ground, blank face, and then he started screaming, and it was like, it was not a good look. And that's fine to mention it on a friggin' podcast, because I didn't like the way it looked. He's a good player. I love all the goals. This is great. I'm very excited about this.
Well, we had mentioned last week, and you brought it up, that, there are a couple of finishes that have been questionable. The one where it took 3 or 2, whatever you want to call it. And then, in this game, he had that early chance. He had that early chance that, David, you mentioned that about Thommy. He hit it first time. If Willy had hit his ball first time early in the game and not held onto the ball, he probably would have had a hat trick.
Yeah, that's fair.
We had an interesting discussion on the site, thebluetestament.com, by the way, about, is Willy a MLS starting caliber number 9, or is he a backup? And, certainly when Pulido's healthy, he's going to be a backup or a rotational piece. But I had kind of joined with Cody, and some of these finishes were not necessarily convincing. They'd been going in, which is great, and you got to put yourself in the position to actually do it, and you got to put it on frame.
But then he had 2 convincing goals in this last game. So,
but specifically the first one, it's certainly the bigger highlight because just of the nature of it. But what was interesting to me was his body control and his ability to.
Oh yeah.
Because if you watch where that ball actually is when he strikes it,
it's
he
behind
has
him.
To
rotate.
Yeah. His hips around. He has to be able to get his hips around, keep his foot on top of it.
It's amazing the strength he got on that ball just from where he was taking that shot.
Yeah. So these were in my opinion better goals and really promising. In the second one, while not as flashy, that's a great run and a really solid finish,
Striker's
which is what
goal.
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Which is what you're looking for is, Erik Thommy's goal was also really cool. You're not going to consistently put those in. But if you make runs like Willy did on his second goal, if you're consistently making that run, you are going to score 10 to 12 goals a year in this league.
And Fonte got one.
Second in a row.
I love a good center back goal, you guys. And Fonte, just like the nicest guy on the team, happiest guy on the team.
Taxi.
Oh, so happy that he got one. It was a rocket. What's his name on the broadcast said he was like a mishit that worked out. I don't think so. No. I think he just turned and gunned. Like, that was a great shot.
I've seen him do that in practice, man. That's a couple of weeks ago. He dribbled it was a small-sided game, but I mean, he dribbled through a bunch of people, took a great shot. He scores, and everybody starts calling him Taxi because the guy from DC, right? Taxi Fontes,
yeah.
And he kind of like has a little bit of a sheepish grin, because he's not the kind of guy that's just going to eat that up, right? I mean, he just
and you could see that because later on in the game, was dribbling. He dribbled through a couple guys. He was lining it up. The shoulder was dropping. It looked like he was about to swing. And I think it was just, he was like, oh no, I'm a center back. I've already scored. I can't be up here. It's like, I could hear it, like him going in his head. Like, he's such a nice guy that it's like, oh no, I need to pass this. I've already scored. I can't do this again.
Yeah, we asked him about that in the locker room, and he did a sheepish grin. I was like, yeah, maybe I should have shot.
I saw him today at lunch.
Yeah,
it was my wife's
saw
birthday, and I'm on paternity leave, and so we went out to lunch and ran into him at the French Market in Prairie Village. Excellent calves, terrific calves in person.
Oh, really? Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Good
strong
insight.
calf game.
Good insight there on the street team we got from David here.
That's
and
right.
yes, David, by the way, congratulations, paternity. You just dropped that in there.
Yes.
Paternity leave. Thank you for
Thank you.
still joining it while you're fighting the battles of parenthood.
It's probably his only relief right now.
Yeah.
Escape.
So I want to go back to Agada for a second.
No,
And
praise me for having a child first, Mike.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
do
Thank
any
you. Okay,
work?
well,
But no, we moved on to Fontas, but back to Agada. That you'd asked if he was an MLS starting quality forward, and 5 goals in 4 league games is fantastic, or however many league games he's what.
5
But
appearances. I think.
the thing that'll be interesting will be, now that there's game film, now that there's a trend of how he plays, how will that affect how teams defend him? But the plus side of that is that should, in theory, open up many more opportunities for Shallowy and Russell on the wings, because you now have a forward that teams have to scout and game plan for when it comes to their preparations for the game, when how to deal with Kansas City's attack. And you can shut all 3 down if you want to, but it's a lot harder to shut down 3 players that are coming at you in different ways than it is to shut down
Johnny Russell.
2 players on the wing, basically.
Exactly.
It's a lot harder when you have a guy in the middle who will cause you problems if you don't take care of him.
How about this analysis from the Shades of Blue Soccer Show? Teams are a lot better when you have a striker.
Now, Mike, hey, I completely agree with you and knew exactly where you were going to go with that. But, hey, I think Tommy's getting lost in the shuffle here.
Right.
He's made such a big difference in that
No,
midfield.
Tommy has helped the midfield out immensely as well in being another threat out of the midfield, basically. I mean, he's able to dictate play, and he's able to put defenders on their heels. I mean, going back to his goal, he left Eric Williamson in his, like, Williamson all of a sudden saw Agada laying the ball off and was miles behind Tommy by that point. And I know Williamson is the fave of a lot of people in the MLS community right now as a national team player, but he just got left in the dust by Tommy on that goal. It's like he turned and he's like, oh, he's gone. And then the ball's in the net, and I'm still 5 yards behind him.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Lucas Zelarayan, he's no Emmanuel Reynoso, he's no Hani Mukhtar, but he's certainly an elevation from what we've had, and certainly does make teams worry about him.
Yeah, and I think it's something we don't have to discuss it tonight because the season's not over, but I think there are going to be a lot of questions about this team. Not that there weren't already, but with how Tommy's playing, with how Agada's playing, there are going to be a lot of questions about how this team is going to look to start next season, with how the midfield is right now, with players returning, with where they're going to add players. There's going to be a lot of discussion about how this team will look in 2023.
And one of those questions is about the keeper between the pipes. And we have to talk about Jonathan Pulskamp's. What is this face? Mike didn't like my between the pipes.
No. I was going to say, look at that segue. Look at that great segue right there.
There we go. There we go. So Pulskamp had a double save of the season, I think. I don't know how he saved that. The second one was in the far upper reaches of the upper 90. I don't think you can get any more upper 90 than that. He was backtracking on his heels, It was absolutely glorious.
Well, it was his presence of mind in the moment to even start getting there, and he saw it coming.
And he got to take out one of the Chara brothers. So it was just great all around.
That's bonus points no matter what.
Yeah, no, and that was a fantastic save. I while the save is fantastic and that's the highlight, I'm still Blanco didn't even look at that shot. He just hit that first time. I know we're praising Pulskamp for the goal, but I can't not praise Blanco for that one time putting that ball towards the upper 90 from about 30 yards out, first time basically. It was a fantastic shot and a better save by
the highlight is just so beautiful.
Blanco's pretty good at that at Sporting Park, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I was just about to say he scored. He kind of did. It was from kind of the same spot. It wasn't as difficult of a shot he was making, but yeah, that was kind of from the same spot that he eliminated Sporting Kansas City, one of the better Sporting Kansas City teams of the last decade, honestly, from the playoffs.
And yeah, Pulskamp gave him a nod in the post-game conference too. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that was an impressive hit.
It was an impressive hit, but my save was better.
Yep.
So you're praising a keeper. I'm just trying to make sure that we have this on record. You're praising a keeper.
Yes, and I would like to put this on record at mentioning I do give credit where credit is due. I just don't give credit for, quote-unquote, making yourself big when someone just shoots the ball at your chest. You're never going to hear me give credit for that. But yes, I love good keeper saves when there's athleticism involved and diving and stretching out, and yes, I love it.
There's also one that he did in the second half where he just stuck his arm out, just didn't in hand right on it. I mean, maybe that's a little bit lucky being in the exact right spot, but he was in the exact right spot.
Yeah, that was not an amazing save, but he stuck his arm out and kept a strong arm, and yeah, that was good. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm not just a hater.
Wow.
I don't do things on the show for content.
You're only saying this because we're going to talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah, we are going to talk to Pulskamp tomorrow, and yeah, we should mention we did we were questioning Pulskamp in the podcast before this game. That question was coming up on. We've gotten a good look at him. Has he impressed us the way we've wanted to? And then he comes out and did that. He got robbed of the shutout there at the very end, didn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, that was disappointing.
He did make bench of the team of the week, but yay.
Bench of the team of the week, and someone was that
Agada got team of the week, first team.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And face of the league or something. What Mike just said. I didn't know.
Face of the week. Doyle's face of the week.
Oh, Doyle. Oh no.
Yeah, the more we discuss Doyle, the sadder I get. Pulskamp is a pretty solid shot stopper, which Mike, you can tell us more because you actually played the position, but seems like it's easier to learn how to distribute the ball and play out of the back the way that Peter's going to want to than it would be to learn how to be a shot stopper. You mentioned with Millie and his PKs about how he just got insane reflexes. That stuff I feel like you can't really teach.
Was playing out of the back, did that exist when you were banging? That's kind of a new thing, right?
The amount of playing out of the back, yeah, but no, distribution is something that is it's easier to coach than the instincts of positioning, and it's easier to coach than just reactionary and reflexes, basically. So in what you're asking, yeah, that it's easier to teach distribution than it is, hey, you need to do this quicker.
Okay, what are we missing from this game? We've talked about all the goals. Shout outs to we even gave a shout out to Ben Sweat. We covered all the current stuff. I think we've done we're at over 50 minutes here. I think we've got a full night, a full pod in the books.
So mathematically, Sporting's still in it.
Yes, that is correct.
Going for it clearly. Same lineup 3 games in a row. I am pretty confident Peter will throw the same lineup out this weekend.
Mathematically, still in it.
This weekend, Sporting can actually get off the bottom of the Western Conference now too.
We're trying to climb out of the Western Conference cellar. No longer the wooden spoon, but things are looking very good. There's reasons to like and watch this team as the season wraps up.
I have a question. I want to do it for the content. We're creating hashtag content here to steal something from Andy Edwards. What was the deal with Roger getting subbed out? Did anybody else see the like peculiar body language?
Ooh, no.
Yeah, he came off and he and Vermees had like an interaction.
I don't know. I missed this.
I missed it as well. My comment would be, I mean, it's basically been around that time that Espinosa's been getting subbed off for the last 3 games. Basically, he goes between 55 and 65-ish minutes, basically, and then Hernandez comes in to close the game out. It's how Vermees has played him the last month or so of the season, and at this point of the year, it's kind of how you want to play your 36-year-old or almost 36-year-old veteran midfielder.
Yeah, I would agree. That's exactly how you. I mean, if you're going to start him, you want to have him go no more than 60 and have a young guy come in and run his ass off.
Sure, it wasn't because he was upset because he wouldn't get to do his twerk celebration after he scored a goal.
All right. I think that has wrapped it up for us, right? Any final thoughts, Thad?
It's a goal! Cody Bradley of the Blue Testament with the header, putting Team Hartman. The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Some punters strong and ball gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood.